welcome to NAPOD, where we provide NA speaker meetings and workshops in a podcast. We are an ad-free podcast, and if you enjoy listening, please help us to be self-supporting by visiting napod.xyz, look for the donate link, and drop $1 or $2 in the virtual basket. If you're also in AA or have friends that are, please tell them about our other podcast, Sobercast. Sobercast features AA speakers and workshops in the same format as NAPOD. We upload a new speaker every day, and it's easy to subscribe by searching for Sobercast, that's 2 words, on any podcast player app, or go to Sobercast.com. Enjoy the podcast, and thanks for listening.
Hello, I'm Allison, and I'm an addict. That's it. Just kidding. I'm a fidgeter. Give me a minute. Thanks for having me. It's not a very long drive, but it was beautiful down here, and I don't get down to Marin County as much as I like, but I like the faces that I see when I get here. Some of them are from home. Ha! Hi. Yeah, I was actually right in the middle of my German class when I got the phone call to be invited down here to see if I was willing to come and share myself with you all. And my first thought was no, right? But then she told me the date, and then I looked at my calendar, and then I realized I didn't have anything conflicting and that there wasn't any reason why I wouldn't, or no excuses I could come up with, no lies. So then I said yes, because actually that's the only reason why I've been able to go to school, and it's the only reason why I've been able to have a job, and it's the only reason why I've been able to have any long-lasting relationships, because even when I don't wanna, I show up, because that's the majority of the battle. There's been all kinds of times, like I just recently got certified as a lifeguard. I have no idea why. I just thought it would be cool, and it was this 1-week class where I had to go. First of all, I had to train because I don't really swim, right? So the first thing that people ask you when you say, I want to be a lifeguard, is, do you swim? And I said no. So I thought I would, figure out how to do that. So I took a swimming class, right? And I was like going to swimming, and I was swimming, and I was doing this whole thing. And then there were this series of events where I work at regional parks up in Sonoma County, and so I knew the people who were going to be putting on the class. And so how we do sometimes, how we have connections, right? They slipped me the piece of paper that told me what the swimming requirements would be for the beginning of the next class that went during spring break, right? And that's the deal. You show up, you swim. If you can't meet the requirements, you don't get to take the class. If you meet the requirements, then you can take the class. That's how it goes. So they slipped me the requirements the night before, which if they had known me, they would have known that means certain death for me. If I know what it's going to be, if I can at least in any way talk myself out of it, I'm not going to show up, right? So I'm reading the requirements. I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do that. It's 550 yards instead of 500. Like, how am I going to do that in 10 minutes? Like, how am I going to do? Oh, and then I have to do the breaststroke. I have to do 250 yards of that, and I'm not going. I'm not going to go. It's like 6 o'clock on Friday. I have to show up there or whatever day it was. I don't even know. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm just not going to go. I'm not going to do it. And the amazing thing about that moment was that I got to do something really cool. One is I got to see my brain just take off like the Roadrunner. And I also got to see a separate part of myself go, that's really interesting that you think that. Thank you for sharing. We are going to go anyway, whether you like it or not. And I showed up the next day, and I swam, and I passed the requirements. And we were in the pool, like I did my, because what turned out is that it wasn't timed. It was 50 more yards, but then the time limit went away. So I didn't have to do 550 in 10. I could do 550 as long as I wanted. I could take as long as I wanted with my breaststroke. I could take as long as I wanted with my freestyle. I could do whatever. right? I wouldn't have known that had I not showed up. And like what I thought was going to be at 11 feet, where I was going to have to dive down, pick up the ring, then go 5 more feet, pick up the ring, then go 5 more feet, pick up the ring, and then come up, was actually in 7 feet, which is doable. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't showed up. Right? I just recently took my final exams. I was pretty sure that I failed. And the night before my final exam for my history class, I wasn't going to go because I hadn't finished the papers. So I wasn't gonna turn them in, so I wasn't gonna go to the class, right? And so instead I emailed my teacher and said, hey, I fucked up. And he said, hey, turn them in by 10. I said, okay, right? And I went and I finished them up. And the thing was, it's not that I didn't write them. I wrote them. They just weren't perfect, so I couldn't turn them in, right? They were there. They were on my computer. They were ready to send, but I couldn't send them because they weren't quite right. Of course, I can't let anybody else see it if it's not quite right. I can't show up like half. Whatever. So I turned them in. I took the exam. I made straight A's in summer school. Yes! It's the first time I've ever taken summer school, right? Crazy. I don't know if you've ever taken summer school, but it's 6 months of work in 6 weeks. And why did I do that? Why did I choose summer school? Well, we'll just go backwards. We seem to be starting in the present and going backwards. I kind of like that. That's sort of fun. So why did I take summer school? Because 2 years ago, I kind of graduated college, and then I went away to Europe, which is a whole nother delicious story. And then I came back and I was like, I don't want to do what I've been saying I was going to do this whole time. So I think I'm just not going to do that. Although it wasn't really that simple. It was, I said, okay. I said, all right, I'm going to do this thing that I said I was going to do, right? And I would go and I couldn't fill out the application. I was like, shit. Okay, I'll try it again. Right, and then the next semester would come around and I would fill out some of it and I would like try to turn it in by the due date, and then I would go and I couldn't turn it in. By the third attempt of this, I went, okay, I need to take a look at this because that's not how I am. I am the person that if I want to do something, I will turn it in after the due date, right? After you tell me that applications are closed, that you're not accepting anymore. Like if I want it, I'm going for it, right? I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I can't swim. I'm taking the lifeguard class, whatever. Right? And so after the third time of this, I went, okay, I need to take a look at this. And it turned out that I wasn't really interested in doing what I had intention to do, like originally intended to do. And instead of being able to say that about myself and say, okay, Allison, you have permission to not do what you were going to do, and you have permission to try something else, I just continued to try to do the same thing that I was doing. It was very painful. So finally, at one night, speaking with my wonderful family, my bonus mother said to me, well, what if you just gave yourself permission to not go to the teaching credentialing school? What would that be like? I start sobbing, and I'm like, that would be great. I don't really want to go. I just want to take languages. So now I speak 4 languages. Gesundheit. She sneezed. I didn't make that up. Just as an excuse to use German, but it was fun. So now I speak 4 languages. So, it's like, okay, did I just do that because I'm an amazing, wonderful person? Yes. And how did I become an amazing, wonderful person? By hanging out with a whole bunch of other amazing, wonderful people. And how did I get into a whole group of amazing, wonderful people? By admitting that I was powerless over my addiction and my life was unmanageable. And then I became surrounded by a whole bunch of amazing, creepy, weird, freaked out, manic, crazy people who are daily getting in touch with their spiritually higher selves. And it's hard for me to say sometimes that I'm incredible, and it's hard for me to say that I speak 4 languages, because then that would mean somehow that I have something amazing about myself that I could possibly offer to somebody else. And if I say that, then what have I done? oh God, like I said I was good or great or beautiful or smart or wonderful or loving. And what if you don't notice that? Or what if I have a bad day? Or what if I steal something? You know, I sometimes think that good things and bad things are mutually exclusive, that I can't live with contradictions, that I can't make mistakes, that I can't be imperfect, just like the paper. Like, why would I show up and show you myself if I'm not all glorious and glittery all the time, right? Why am I going to show up when I'm like a puddle, a mud puddle? And the beautiful thing about hanging out in Narcotics Anonymous, my experience has been, is that it gives me an opportunity to show up when I'm a mud puddle and do it anyway, whatever the it is, right? So that when it comes to the lifeguard training class and when it comes to the exam and when it comes to miscarriaging at 6 months and when it comes to my best friends dying because of this disease and when it comes to going on a trip to Europe and sitting in Ireland on the corner sobbing my eyes out with my brain telling me, what are you doing here? Why did you think you could come here? Who do you think you are? All that stuff, when it comes down to all those things that I get to show up and be here, just because I learned how to show up and be here when I'm the mud puddle. And if I only came here when I was looking good, you wouldn't see that much of me, right? Because there are times where I'm looking good, and that's great. But when I'm really looking good, I don't really need you. I'm looking good. Why do I need to hang out with you? I don't. Right? If I had hair and a collar, I would flip it. So instead, by all of the wise biker women that attacked me in Mendocino County in 1999 when I first got clean told me, is that I come no matter what. I show up when I want to. I show up when I don't want to. If I can make it, I go. If I'm capable of being there, I go, which is why I'm here. Right? Not because I think my story is so wonderful, not because I think I'm such an amazing person, although those things are true through the eyes of the people that I know that love me. They get to look at me and tell me those things even when I can't see it, just like I get to look at them and tell them those things when they can't see it. But I come here instead because there were all these beautiful, delicious women who came before me and said stuff out loud that I couldn't say out loud when I was here in the beginning. Like secrets. Like, they would say things like, I never felt okay. I never felt like I fit in. I always felt like my body was a commodity that I could sell in order to get something else. I always felt like my self-esteem was a commodity that I could sell in order to get something else, right? Like if my hair is cute enough, my outfit is cute enough, my makeup is cute enough, my eyebrows are cute enough, which they're not right now, just in case anybody noticed. Then I would be all right? If I could just alter something, if I could just make it all right, if I could just, make you think I was all right, if I could convince you, right? I love this. If I could convince you that I was awesome, then I would be awesome. The interesting thing about that is that it's the other way around. That if I sit in a place where I am awesome, then I am awesome. And if I'm constantly scrambling around trying to figure out how to make you think that I am, I miss the entire point to the whole thing. I miss the entire essence of my spirit. I miss the entire path, the entire light, the entire package. I miss the entire thing. I don't get to be present in my body. I don't get to actually have any real relationships because I'm not about showing you what's really happening in my heart. I'm about trying to figure out what it is you want to see in order to be friends with me, to love me, to hang out with me, to laugh at my jokes. Whatever. I'm funny, though. I'm actually pretty secure with that one. I had to date a gentleman where I gave him everything that I was. I was like a year and a half clean, I think. I gave him all of my fashion sense. I took out all of my piercings. I stopped dyeing my hair. I grew it out long. Stopped smoking. Stopped cussing. Started hanging out with all his friends, stopped hanging out with my friends, stopped going to meetings, stopped hanging out with my family, right? I had to give him everything that was me in order to figure out some stuff that I actually had that I missed when it was gone. He didn't laugh at my jokes, that jerk. He didn't know. He didn't know what he was missing. He didn't know how funny I really was. But he was a beautiful man, and he taught me a lot of stuff. And when I ended that relationship, I put my piercings back in. I kept a little bit of the fashion sense. I kept a little bit of the femininity. I kept a little bit of the, like, mellow, not cussing so much, kind of chill a little bit, right? And cut my hair, dyed it some crazy color red, probably, knowing me, right? So there were things that I got to keep from that. Oh, went back to meetings, right? Duh. Started participating in my life again on a spiritual level. And it was good. He taught me so much. He has no idea. And I had no idea at the time when I was going to lay my entire life down and give everything that I was for him to define, that it was going to change the way I was as a woman for the rest of my life and the rest of my recovery. It gave me a sense of strength about myself. It gave me a sense of self-worth after having living that way without any of that for like almost 2 years. I went, oh, I'm actually kind of cool. Sweet. You know, and whatever, like there are judgments about how we learn stuff around here, and we have to learn things in all kinds of different ways. You got to learn it the way you got to learn it. I got to learn it the way I have to learn it. There are things that I've done in recovery that have been so painful. Ooh, child, man. So painful. And some of them have been the world, right? It's just been life. Whatever. It's just been life. And other things have been totally within the boundary of my choices, where I'm like, yeah, I love him. Okay? So I'm either going to get loaded, start smoking, or break up with him. Well, I don't really want to get loaded because at that point I had like 5 years clean, so I was a little arrogant about my time. And because after 5 years, you know, you're not a newcomer anymore, so that was really exciting. That's what they used to tell me in Mendocino County, that the old dudes, the old crotchety dudes with like, you know, 15, 16 years clean. Well, you're a newcomer till you're 5. And I was like, oh, I'm not a newcomer anymore. They just turned it to 6. You know, they tell me stuff like that. But anyway, enough about them. We're talking about me. I was 5 years clean, and there was this guy, and I loved him, right? And I was either going to get loaded, stop seeing him, or start smoking. So naturally, I started smoking, right? Duh. It's not like I was going to leave, because I had enough recovery for both of us. I did. Don't laugh. This is not funny. And when I said it out loud then and went to my sponsor, because I was still talking to my sponsor even though I was lying my ass off to everybody else, I could not tell the truth. Where are you going? Ukiah. I was going to Lake County. I was a liar. But I was telling the truth to my sponsor, and I was telling the truth to my best girlfriend. So I was telling the truth to at least 2 people, and I was telling the truth to myself, and that was good. And I was telling the truth to God. I wasn't shut off. I was there. I was doing the whole thing. And let me tell you, in some ways, that is more painful than being completely oblivious. Like, oh my God, how did I get here? No, I was 5 years in the dope house like, I know exactly how I got here. I'm in the dope house. I'm 5 years clean. Why am I in here? What am I doing here? How did I let myself get here? I love him. What am I doing here? I'm in the dope house. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I remember sitting outside of, I guess it was Baker Square one night, on the phone. You know how this plays out. On the phone, sobbing to my sponsor. Okay, I'm ready to leave. I just don't know how. And she said the most amazing thing anyone had ever said to me. You are powerless over your disease to this man, and you are powerless over his disease and his addiction to you. And I went, oh, it's like the first step. Cool. I know this one. I know how to do this. And so, so I did the thing. I continued to smoke again for a year, but then I quit that again. I hadn't smoked in 3 years at that point, I think. And, it's about choices. I chose that one. I chose it. Man, I saw it written up and down all over, and I was like, I'm going for this one. I'm taking this. I'm going down if I need to, and I did. I went down. I was really close to picking up. Really, 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 really close. It's only so many times that I can drive to the bar and pick up my partner. Only so many times I can go to the dope house and to help him look for a friend. There were like only so many times we could go and do whatever the errand was that we needed to do. There was only so many times I could do that. And I did it as many times as I possibly could until I couldn't anymore. And then I did what I do, which is when my ass is falling off, I show up in NA and I tell the truth to everybody I've been lying to the whole time. Hi, my name's Allison. I'm an addict. I'm a liar. And I'm here. And I'm clean. And I'm fucked up. And that's what I do. Because that's what I was taught how to do. And when I was pregnant, and I was 5 months, I guess, and I had a miscarriage, and I had to give birth to the child because she was large enough at that time to have a whole birth situation, and I actually gave birth to a child that I knew was not breathing while I was in labor. I showed up in NA, and I said, hi, my name is Allison, and I'm an addict, and I just gave birth to a child that wasn't breathing, and I don't know how to live my life clean. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And, it's amazing what happens here. It's amazing what occurs. Like, I had just moved from Mendocino County down to Sonoma County, and I just hooked into the fellowship. I knew if I didn't do it, I was going to die. When I went to Europe and I was tripping around and I had that whole voice thing happen where it told me that that I was a piece of shit and that there was no way I was ever going to be able to do any of this, and who did I think I was, and now I was in these countries where I spoke the language, and what was I going to do when I got to countries where I didn't, and like who, really just like, who do you think you are? I wish you could have heard it, man. Whew. Wow. What do you think you're doing? What made you think? And you know what? The brain is good for some things. It is. The brain is good for some things. Like, it helps me discern whether or not things match. It helps me figure out, like, whether I should take a right or a left or continue to go straight. Or, my brain helps me with stuff. Helped me learn my languages. Helped me pass my classes, right? Helps me at my job. Maybe helps me memorize names. Sometimes. Maybe helps me. The brain is good. But it's also an interpretive machine and a projection machine. So, like, it gets one thought and it just takes off, like, 20 years in advance, and it's taken that one thought and, like, brought it to every level it could ever go, and it's, like, been 2 seconds later. Whoa, who are you? What are you doing? What are you thinking about, right? It just goes. Can't even stop it. So, the brain does amazing things, right? It's a weird thing, the brain. It's been an incredible journey to be able to sit and just watch it and just listen to it and say that same thing to it now, like, oh, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Nice of you to join us. I know you have a lot to say, but we're not really going to listen to you right now. We don't believe you. We think you're a liar. We're going to collect all of our things and go swim anyway, even though you tell us we don't know how. We're going to pick up our backpack and we're going to go and, do whatever. So I want to share this one last story with you. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe more stories. Who knows? I set my alarm because I like to talk a lot. It's very fun. I've been doing it since I was a child. Before I could even talk, I would talk. That's what my parents tell me. They're like, before you could even talk, you'd have this whole, like, rhythm where I'm like, yeah, nothing has changed. In school, over and over and over again, it was the number one unsatisfactory thing I had. Allison is very bright, shows lots of potential, can't shut up. That would be me. So now I use it for good instead of evil, right? I use my powers for good instead of evil. That's a lot about recovery, too. I get to learn how to use my powers for good and not for evil. I get to learn how to use my bullheadedness and hard-headedness for amazing, incredible things. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure I get to use them for those, right? And I get to use my voice for incredible things, too, and my assertiveness. Anyway, I just discovered recently, and I was just talking with someone before the meeting about it, that the first time I got drunk, I was 3 years old. So this is the first time that I ever actually used a substance. I was 3. And so I've said that for years, right? I got drunk at a wedding. It's fine. We were Catholic back then. You know, a Catholic, I don't know if you know, but whatever. You don't need to know. If you don't already know, don't find out. Okay? You're fine without knowing. Just trust me. And maybe you have a really good experience with the church, and if you do, that's wonderful. God bless you. And, you know, I did not have a good experience, and so I had to go find another definition for those 3 letters that did not involve someone that was going to burn me in hell for the things that I had done. So that's just me. I needed to go outside and find something else that was a little bit less defined, right? For me, a person who likes everything in a box, everything with a label, everything to have all the definitions, and I have to understand everything. My God is not like that. I have no idea what it's all about. It's the air that I breathe in. It's the air that I breathe out. It's every single molecule, everything that's touching. It's the wind. It's the ocean. It's the clouds. Because that is the only thing that I know that's big enough to get me out of who I think I am on a consistent basis. So, here I am 3, right? I got drunk at a wedding. I was really cute back then. Very chubby, nice cheeks, right? Little. And I was 3. And my parents had just gotten divorced. So I was born in California. My parents got divorced. My mom left, brought the kids, my sister, my older sister, and I down to Panama, which is where my grandmother and grandfather lived. And so we moved in with them, and they raised us. And my mother went back to the States and went to school to prepare herself for single motherhood that would come later. So my grandparents raised me. But I got drunk, and I've said that for a long time because I think it's really important that that's the first time that I got loaded, was when I was 3. But it wasn't until just recently that I connected the fact that it was right after my parents split up. And I've been, you know, I'm with my sponsor, and I'm doing all this beautiful, wonderful stuff, and then we hit the 6th step, and then I was like, wow, maybe I need to go to some therapy, right? So I went outside to do a little outside work with somebody who has a degree, but I continue, you know, to talk to my sponsor and do the whole thing. I'm whatever. I'm not here to tell you how to run your recovery. I'm not against outside help. I think it's great for me as long as I'm continuing to do the stuff I'm doing in here. Because if I'm not continuing to do the stuff in here, I'll just lie to that person, right? And they won't even know. I'll just tell them whatever I think they want to hear, just like I always did to everybody else, right? So I need to keep this program in here really solid so I can continue to show up and tell the truth in my life. So I go and I tell the truth to my therapist, and we're, you know, doing whatever. And I get really angry one day, and I'm like sobbing and shaking and crazy because we're trying to figure out right now why I run all the time, why I'm always so busy, why I have 4 jobs and go to school full time and have 3 sponsees and do this and have a sponsor and do that. Like, we're trying to figure out, you know, like, what is that about me that makes me do that? Where is that coming from? How does that make you feel? All of those things, you know. And it came up one day when something happened, and I was like, oh, I got to pay attention to my body, how my body reacted. First, I wanted to clean something, anything. Didn't matter what it was. I could dump out my purse, reorganize my purse, check my calendar, clean out your purse, make origami. Like, it didn't matter. I just needed to do something right now. So first it was I needed to do something. And then I got really angry about it, whatever the it was. I don't even remember. First I wanted to do something. I could feel like the antsy. And then I got really angry about it. And then there were some other levels. And then at the very base of that was complete and absolute despair and pain. And it was really deep. Like, it was old, heavy stuff. And so then she asked me, okay, let's sit there for a minute, right? So I'm in it. Like, I'm in this thing. And after this was all over, I was like, no fucking wonder. No wonder I got loaded. Duh. No wonder. Wow, I spent my entire life trying to not sit in that thing. Whew. Anyway, so I sat there, right, in it. And she asked me to verbalize it. And so, like, we're sitting there, and I'm just letting my body do the talking. And then I say, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to. And I got really young. I don't want to go. And I just kept saying it. And then I knew exactly where that was from. I was 3. I didn't want to go. It didn't matter that my dad was a heroin addict. It didn't matter that my mom was a codependent. It didn't matter that my sister and I were being raised in an normal, whatever. We weren't the cookie cutter family. Didn't matter. I didn't want to go. Right? So my parents did what they thought was best for them, which is, of course, what every parent does, right? They look at that heroin addict father and they go, fuck no, I'm taking my kids out of here. I need to make them be safe. Awesome. And I understand that, and I love my mom for doing what she had to do. And at 3, I didn't want to go. So what did I do when I got to Panama? I got drunk. That's what I did. I don't want to go. I'll fix that. I had to go anyway, so I might as well not feel it. Numbed it out. I had the best night of my life. I danced at that wedding. Oh, my God, it was amazing. And my mom tells me that I spent the rest of the next day vomiting in the bathroom. I don't remember that part. I just remember the wedding. I just remember how good that felt. And I don't remember the next day. And this would then be the carbon sheet for the rest of my days until I was 19 and got clean. And if I could remember the next day, I did everything that I could to block it out. And that's kind of how it went. And today, where I am and what I'm doing is that I'm a Libra. I don't know if that means anything to any of you. It doesn't really mean anything. I don't know if I buy all that crap, but Libras are like, ta-da, I'm a Libra, right? And and I'm very much like that. And what I discovered recently is that if you are looking at all of the fireworks of the ta-da, whether it's because I'm a Libra or not, if you were looking at the fireworks, if I can get you to look at the fireworks, then you don't get to see the real process. You don't get to see if I'm hurt by what you said. You don't get to see if I really love you and I'm just trying to hide it. You don't get to see if I really love you and I'm gushing it all over you. You don't get to see anything because you are distracted by the fireworks. I'm a major magician when it comes to who I am and who I really want you to think I am. Right? So if I can just make a big show, if I can just be out there and wild and loud and whatever, then I don't have to be real. And that's not to say that me being loud isn't real. I mean, it's fine. You know, like again, I exist with contradictions. I'm very much like the river. I'm very fluid. I'm one thing 1 second. I'm one thing that, no, I hate that. Yes, I love it. No, yes, I love it. Right? Whatever. It's hard to tell where I'm going to be. But, what I've noticed a lot about myself is that if you ask me a question, and there's a difference between how I really feel and what I want you to think I feel, I can't answer right away. I just go, yeah, I'd really like to say yes, but the answer is no, right? Or whatever it is. And it's incredible. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know what kind of woman I'm going to turn out to be because of this. I have no idea. But all I know is, like, just like with the first step, and just like with the second step, and the third step, and the fourth step, and the fifth step, and the sixth step, and on and on and on, I just become more and more and more aware with each thing. I just become more aware. Some of the stuff I like to see, some of the stuff I don't. Some of the stuff I enjoy hearing, some of it I wish I didn't hear. But whatever it is and whatever emotional attachment or moral judgment I put on it, I just get to become more and more aware. And the difference between that is when I was getting loaded and I'd get a flat tire and I would just get loaded. Like I said I wasn't going to or what have you, and I'd get a flat tire and I'd get loaded. I'd be like, whatever, I got a flat tire, I'm justified, right? The difference between being aware is that, and when I was in Europe and after having that experience in Ireland, and then all these things would happen, right? Like, this is what happened with that sitting on the corner sobbing. And my brain, like I listened to my brain for a little while. It told me you know what it told me, right? It told me all the stuff. It tells me how I got no business thinking I'm worth anything because I'm not. And if I ever think that I am, I'm wrong, right? That's what my brain tells me. I don't know why it does that, but it's a whole weird component that just has a life of its own. It's almost like its own person up there, just having a conversation alone. Completely separate from reality, just up there talking all the time. I don't know. I think you have that, right? Am I unique? No. Okay. Whew. Okay, so there's that thing. And then there's, when I was sitting there on that corner, I was looking for a meeting is what I was doing. I was in London, and I had looked for a meeting in Ireland, and I decided that I was going to jump on a plane and go to Ireland, right? I'm backpacking for 2.5 months. I don't have any plans. Why? I should be able to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just made a decision to jump on a plane and go, so I'm going to do it. Woohoo! And so I go, and then I can't find the meeting, right? So immediately my brain's like, see? Why did you make an individual choice for yourself? What were you thinking? Like you could actually go somewhere and have a good time alone. Right? So I got all this going on. I'm in Ireland. I can't find the meeting. And there's this really soft voice that keeps saying, go and sit in the internet cafe. Write an email home. Just sit down and chill out. Breathe. Meditate. Take a load off. It's fine. You either find it or you don't. Whatever. Right? Who do you know? Okay. This is what's going on. I'm listening to the really loud one for a while, and then I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Right? We gotta get to the place. Fine. I'll go. I'll go sit in the internet cafe, whatever. It's hot out. I'm freaking little girls out as they're walking by. I got whatever. I'm sobbing in the middle of the morning. Right? So I'm like, okay. So I get up and I pass by that internet cafe a couple of times, and I go and I sit in it. I pay, sit down at the computer. I write an email home. Just hopped on a plane, decided to come to Ireland. I'm here. I don't know where the meeting is. I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. Love you guys. I'm sure it'll all be fine. Bye. Right? Which is kind of how my emails went when I was in Europe. I'm sure my family loved that. I know for all of you that have daughters, you probably just went... But I really did feel good. And I really didn't know where I was going to sleep. But that was going to be the theme. And I would always be taken care of, right? So I decide, okay, fine. So I did that. I went and I sat. No big deal. Dude, I felt so much better. I was like, I don't even care if I find the meeting. Whatever. That's my alarm. So then I get all my stuff, right? And I go and I open the door and I look across the street and it's the meeting. And I'm like, oh. So that's how it's going to be. Okay. All right, I get it. Sweet. And that's how it was for the rest of the trip. It's how it was in London, actually, before I even decided to get on the plane to Ireland. But I didn't notice it quite as much, although there's a woman I met. Her name is Levine, and Levine had a daughter by the name of Poppy that was supposed to be born alive and didn't get to be that way. Got born as a premature child. Same as my situation. She was the same years clean. But I was 6 years clean at that point when I went. Right? So I show up, and if she had any idea what it took me to get there, and if you don't understand how much I love my higher power, let me just tell you. And this is the difference. We're still talking about the difference between, oh my God, my tire's flat, I'm going to get loaded, and being in recovery. Right? This is the difference. The situation with being on the corner sobbing and this, which is, I'm going to go to a meeting. Fine, I pick it out. I'm excited. Cool. Got my little maps, right? First of all, I walk around in circles for like 45 minutes. I can't even find the fucking bus I'm supposed to get on. I don't even know. I've walked to that station like 100 times already in London. Maybe not 100. 10. It's really close to 100. So I can't find it. I'm frustrated. I sit down, I roll a cigarette, I smoke a cigarette. Sit down, I smoke a cigarette, whatever, fine. So I finally find it, I get on, I go. And then I get off. It doesn't look right. I don't know. Where am I supposed to go? Check in the map, I walk around for like another 20 minutes, and then I finally get in the correct direction, right? So I'm going. And then I'm walking, right? I'm on the right street, I'm going the right direction, but the numbers are all wrong, and I can't figure it out, right? I'm frustrated at this point, man. I gave myself 2 hours beforehand. It is now like 15 minutes before the meeting starts, and I can't find it. And I am so done. There's no meeting that is worth that. Whatever. I'm over it. I'm doing fine. I feel good. I just got there. Whatever. I don't need a meeting. You don't know me. I'm fine. I'm really frustrated. I'm ready to just say, F it. I'm out of here. So I sit down on a bench. I can't even get the courage to ask someone the address. Like, I can't even, people walk by, I'm like, and then they're gone. Somebody else, I'm like, Then I see this lady. She's got her baby carriage. She's just chilling. She's pushing the baby. She's having a great day. Very calm, looking around, right? She makes eye contact with me. I'm like, hi. It was like an act. Like the hand just came down and took a hi and pulled it right out of my mouth so I could say, I was like, hi. You don't happen to know where this address is, right? She imparts upon me the most amazing piece of information I learned in Europe. The numbers are different on both sides of the street. Yes. So I just moved over to the other side of the street and kept going and looked at the numbers over there because those were the ones I wanted. Okay. So I show up at the meeting like 10 minutes late. I'm there. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's a small meeting. It has like 10 people in it. It's just great. Everybody has different accents. You got like people from London. You got people from Scotland. You got, I learned off my face, which makes me very happy. I was loaded. I was completely off my face. I was like, off my face. I like that. And the other thing that I got is I got to meet this guy by the name of Rashad. And Rashad and a whole group of people like we do here, they all went out to tea, right? Because we're in London. Show some respect. We go out and we have tea. I think I had coffee, but whatever. They went out for tea. So we're all hanging out, and then this Rashad guy says, hey, there's another meeting later on tonight. You want to go to it? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds great. Let's do that, right? So we meet up at a location. I get on the underground, and I go, and we meet, and then we go to the meeting. Now, this other woman, Levine, her situation is that she doesn't want to go out. She just gave birth to a baby. She just lost the baby. She doesn't want. There's nobody in her fellowship that knows, that has gone through this and stayed clean. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. She doesn't want to go anywhere. She doesn't want to do anything. But she has a sponsee. And her sponsee is celebrating 30 days. And this particular meeting is really long and really wonderful. Everybody meets upstairs. And then the speaker talks about a topic. And then you split up. And the non-smokers are upstairs and the smokers are downstairs. And then you all meet together at the end, and all the sponsors give their sponsees their clean time chip if they're celebrating. So, of course, Levine has to go, right? She doesn't want to go. She hasn't wanted to go to a meeting in a long time. She shows up anyway because she has a sponsee who's getting 30 days, and so she's going to be there to support her. She almost left, right? I just happened to be smoking at the time, which I hadn't done for a really long time, right? So here I am smoking now, which is weird. So I go downstairs to the smoking meeting, and I'm hanging out, and my friend Rashad goes back upstairs to the non-smoking, because even though he smokes, he doesn't like to be in the smoke, whatever. He goes upstairs. I decide to stay down. Levine speaks. I hear about this whole situation with her baby and her life and where she is and what's going on. I'm like, okay, I could talk to her, and I'm like, no, I'm sure everybody's talking to her. I'm sure she's got all kinds of people. Then I got the thing, like, I don't have anything to offer, right? She doesn't want to hear what I have to say. Whatever. I go back and forth, and I'm like, shh, just send her in, be here, hear the message. Whatever happens will happen. It's fine. So then I go back upstairs to the non-smoking, and I'm pretty sure she's left, right? And then the whole chip thing happens at the end, and Levine gives her sponsee the chip, and I see her, and I'm like, oh, cool. And so then the meeting ends, and I give her a hug. And I learned how to hug in Narcotics Anonymous because I didn't used to like to be touched. I don't think I got touched a lot, and so I didn't really like it. And I learned how to just settle in to hugs. So if you want a really good hug, I'll give them at the end. I might be a little sweaty, so it might be a little gross, but I'm ready to settle in if you're willing to overlook it. But anyway, so I give her a hug, and I settle into that hug, and I told her, I said, now just get ready to settle in, because you and I are going to be here for a little while. She must have thought, who the fuck is this girl? She's off her face. I don't know if she thought that. I just really like to say that. Okay, so anyway. So she's hugging me, and I'm hugging her, and I'm thinking to myself, she has no idea what this is about. So then out of my mouth, I say, it happened to me when I was 5 years clean, and now I am 6 years clean. And she just started sobbing into my shoulder, and I still email with that woman today. In fact, I just got an email from her not that long ago. Just checking in, letting me know how she was doing, I email her every once in a while, like maybe we email back and forth like a couple times a year. But I just continue to think about that, and I continue to think about a higher power. Whatever that is for you, I'm telling you, if you don't have one, you can borrow mine, because mine's really, what do we say, hecka cool, right? Totally cool, and will carry me through things. And, I'm here, and I'm willing to be a vessel. And that's it. That's the most amazing thing about me, is that I'm willing to be a vessel, that I'm willing to show up even when I don't want to, and I'm willing to just try to be empty enough to be filled with something greater and more amazing than I have ever known. And that is my accomplishment in Narcotics Anonymous, is that I show up and I'm willing to just commit to one more day doing whatever I need to do to stay clean. Just commit to one more day to not stealing that Denny's cup, even though they're really cool. To commit one more day to not taking CDs out of somebody's car when their window's down. To commit one more day to walk by the shopping cart, even if that woman and her daughter are looking the other way, her purse is right there, the door's right there, I'm pretty sure I can get away with it. Right? One more day of just showing up and being honest and being willing to be aware of who I am, whether I am comfortable with that or not. So thank you for participating in that today and allowing me to reflect on that and participate in that with you. And as cheesy as that whole love you thing is and the hugs thing is, man, I'm moved by all of you in general, and some of you specifically, for your courage to show up and be present in your own life, as uncomfortable as that is, regardless of what anybody around us thinks or says, that we just show up and just try to be ourselves a little bit more every day and just figure out what that's all about with each other. So thank you for being women, and thank you for being here. I love you. My name is Allison, and I am an addict.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please help us improve our ranking so others can find us by putting a review on Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast index. NAPOD is ad-free thanks to the folks supporting the show with $1 or more per month. If you enjoy listening, you can join them by going to napod.xyz and looking for the donate link. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.